That's what we got to work on. We got to work on really focusing on if we feel somewhere we need to be able to have a conversation or set up a conversation so we can talk about it rather than just wait for that person to kind of, when they're ready to talk.
Yes, I definitely agree with that. I think what we've gotten used to is because we were good at having hard conversations.
But with all the stuff going on.
But with everything going on, because our time together has been limited.
Yeah.
Actually, like quality time together has been limited. We avoid it.
Correct.
So we wait for the other person. Yeah.
We want to enjoy. whatever time we can spend, we want to spend it rather than try to have a conversation, get to the meat and potatoes of it, and get through it. We just gonna be like, nope, not until that person we want to talk about.
Right.
This is the B-side, 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 the marriage. This is the B-side, 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 the marriage.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of the B-Side of Marriage podcast. I'm your host, Rashonda, and this is my husband and co-host,
Jason.
And here at the B-Side, we talk about everything related to marriage. The good, the bad, the real, the A, and the B-Side. So if you're joining us for the first time, welcome. We're so glad to have you. And if you're returning, hey, welcome back. We missed y'all. And if y'all, please be sure to leave a review, comment, engage on all of
the subscribe.
You can watch us on YouTube. You can listen to us on all of the audio platforms.
As well, follow us on Facebook at the B-Side of Marriage and on Instagram at B-Side of Marriage.
Okay, so let's go on to our first segment, which is where we share an A and a B-side moment from our week.
All right. A-side, I guess the A-side is school is out. The B-side, school is out.
Oh, yeah. I know.
Yes, that's it?
That's
pretty much it. Because, again, glad that they all did good. And, they finished the year out strong. But the part is now they're home. So now it's a new routine, trying to get them in a new routine, and they think I'm just going to get electronics all day long. Mm-hmm. That's been the...
And mind you, this has been not even...
It's
not even been a week.
2 days.
Yeah. Hasn't been a week yet, yes.
So...
That is hilarious to me.
Yeah. What about you?
So my A side is that I'm licensed.
Yay!
Yes, everything went so slow, and then everything sped up. So I'm officially licensed, and I can start seeing clients again. So that's exciting and terrifying all at the same time, because now it's do I do a private practice? Do I do it my own? Do I go back to agency? Yes, a lot of things to figure out, which goes into my B side. I've been feeling a little bit overwhelmed, and I don't like going to the summer feeling overwhelmed. Especially because, the kids are out, so I want to have a more relaxed, schedule. And so that depends. So it depends on, what I decide to do with my therapy, with my license and everything. So, so it's just kind of that. And I feel like I don't have enough routines in place, cleaning schedules and all that stuff. Anyways. There's a lot going on in this head of mine, and I'm just needing to relax and just chill out and not try to have all the answers.
Try to do it all at once.
But sometimes, especially I think also too, the weather in Houston has been crazy the last few weeks. So that's also kind of been playing into it.
Yeah.
So but that's my B-side.
Okay. So... Our next segment is...
It's on you.
I'm sorry, I had to think about that.
It's on you.
Our next segment is the P2P share, where we we share something we're listening to, reading, or watching. What you got?
Okay, so this is not educational. This is not anything but being in other people's business. Okay, this is for all my true crime fans. Okay, let me preface it that way.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a case going on in Boston where the person on trial is Karen Reed. I would, if you're into true crime or just like are interested about the dynamics of people and how like groupthink develops and all that, you have to check out this case. The short of it is, Karen's boyfriend is dead. Okay, so the people in this small little Boston suburb town, they say she killed her boyfriend, but it sounds like as evidence is like coming out, it really looks like a cover up. Like it's just a big pile of mess. So yeah, so I would, if you're into that, check it out because it's so interesting to me to just see how I think. Okay, this is my own personal opinion. How I think it was an accident is just, it was an accident that occurred that then got taken too far. And now they're like in some serious trouble. Like the feds are that's another thing, the feds are investigating while the criminal trial is going on because the investigation was horrible. It was like, it's comical. It's like the perfect movie. I can't wait for them to make it into a movie or docuseries.
But what she forgot to leave out is the cover-up was done by a whole bunch of police officers.
Yes. Yes.
That's the part you left out. That
well, and the boyfriend, he's a cop.
Yeah.
So the investigation was botched. Everybody knows everybody. All of them are cops. They're all like state, and there's even federal agents like a part of this group that's part of this cover-up. And when I say I never knew butt dialing was this sophisticated, the amount of everything. Oh, that's a butt dial. It's a butt dial. It's a butt dial. I was like, man, y'all got some really smart butts because butt dialing for me don't operate the way they.
It don't work.
And everybody uses it. Yeah. I'm like, everybody's like, oh, it's a butt dial. It's a butt dial. It's a butt dial. Anyways, check it out. It's fascinating.
So, my P2P share was something that literally, this week I was just focused on, I was doing a lot of work stuff, so, and I just went on YouTube just to look at something random.
Okay.
And this thing came up it's called Judas Sketch Animation, and I really got intrigued because it's based on stories of the Bible, but it's an animated version, and it was to me, it was good. I was like focused on watching. They have them, they go from like 4 minutes all the way up to like 40 minutes, and they have different. So they talking about different people from the Bible, like David, Solomon, and they are going through like it's how the person did it, the animated. It's awesome how they did it. So that was just
interesting.
Yeah.
It is.
So, okay.
All right. So this week is your topic.
Yeah.
So what are we talking about?
I don't have a title for it. I'm just we just gonna, we gonna kind of just jump into it because I don't. Over the past few weeks, I guess. We've.
Oh, no.
I'm
nervous.
No. So we've had conversations about different things, and I've learned through our conversations that there have been times in our relationship and even recently where, though I was thinking that we were that I was being inclusive to her thoughts, I wasn't. So I kind of want to just talk.
Okay.
talk to that because I hear this, after we had the conversation, I kind of thought about different things that, different couples that I've had conversation with, and I just like, okay, so that's why I kind of wanted to talk about it. So
okay.
So in short, I would say, we're doing some construction, so. We're doing some construction in our house, and I guess I have I've always had this, I say, fear of not having money. So I was on this, not saying on the assumption, I thought when we had a conversation that it was like, okay, we're not going to spend no more money. But in turn, when I found out later, it was more me saying, I was telling her, no, we're not going to spend any money. But I didn't give my wife the voice to even kind of respond and speak and have a conversation about what we're going to do. And I made it all about myself, but did not incorporate my wife. So why you make faces?
I find it interesting that that's where you think. So I find it interesting just that is your
take.
Yes.
Okay.
So my question to you was, do you think that's where it started?
No, it started before that. No, I know.
Okay.
They didn't just start there. It started before that.
Okay.
But I know it was. I guess, yeah, because I'm a stickler. When I say stickler with money, I don't like spending large amounts of money. I think that's where it kind of stemmed from originally.
Okay.
So, but are you trying to say where it started from?
What do you think? Yeah, where do you think the disconnect, or when do you think the disconnect started?
Honestly, I think it's. I don't know. I felt that day. That the disconnect started during when we were driving there because that's when. Because if I remember, I said it before we leave the house that I don't want to spend more money. But that wasn't. We didn't discuss and have a conversation about it. I just said I don't want to spend no more money, and I was kind of like put my foot down. I didn't want to hear anything else. Why? When do you think it started?
So I find it interesting that is what you think was the problem.
Okay.
So for me,
I
think it started way before that.
Okay.
I think what we've been challenged with here recently is working as a team.
Okay.
I think what we had to do, I think this is what we had to do since while I was in school and everything, is just we were able to own our own little things.
Gotcha.
And so now that we have to become more integrated, because it was really like, hey, I don't have the bandwidth to do it. You just take it and you go. And I've been doing the same thing because then I'm like, okay, so I'm just focusing on this stuff because I completely own it.
Yeah.
And like and so because we were able to kind of work in our own little silos,
we never came back together.
Right. So now we're having to come back together, and that is where we're seeming to struggle a little bit.
Okay. No, that's a good perspective because I didn't think about that.
Well, because I was just thinking about this because so we can say it was the budget. Yeah. Because also too, I feel like that is one of the things that has come out of this, right? It was a miscommunication initially. Yeah, initially, yeah. Even with like getting the quote, like there was a misunderstanding of what the quote was. Yeah. So, like I said, I think it was we're not really working as a team well. Okay. Because things are different. And so when we're not working effectively as a team, there's a lot more disconnects. Okay. And that causes like tension over or disagreements over
nothing.
Marble, granite, you know.
Yeah.
To the point where it's like it's just kind of like they just kind of like we say all the time, if you don't address it, it just keeps you right. So that's why at that point it became about granite when it was definitely not about granite. It was like we have not been working well as a team.
Okay. No, that's I didn't think about that. That's a good. I'm I'm just thinking like going back. Yeah.
Yeah, cause even when I think about it, and I'm like, we really wasted like a whole day, almost, no more than a day.
Yeah.
Disagreeing about something that, and that's okay. So I know y'all probably like, what's going on? Okay, so we were supposed to go out. So we were supposed to go pick granite for this project that we're working on. And because of the way, even like when you build a house or whatever, it's like, oh, you can stay within these certain levels.
Yeah.
Okay. Because that's like included. And understanding that if you go, a level outside of that, you have to pay the difference. And so because the cost of this project has been more than we
anticipated,
that we're both comfortable with.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Because that's really what it boils down. Because if we were comfortable with it, we wouldn't have
Yeah.
So because this project is more than we are comfortable with, we had agreed that we were just going to stay in, stay within the levels that we've already basically prepaid. And because we had also a similar mentality when we built the house. So I think that was the mistake. We both thought that we were on the same page when we went in, and then the disconnect really was magnified.
Yeah.
When I was like, well, I mean, we can pick something that's included. I don't like it, or we can go and just look at everything and see what we really do like, because it's like. Yes, initially, I don't want to settle. I'm like, we've already spent all this money. Why? I don't want to get to this one thing and settle. Because just like losing a house for a couple $1,000s.
Yeah.
Like if this is my dream house, I don't want to lose it because of a couple $1,000s. So that's kind of how I looked at this project. I'm like, I don't want to mess up this whole project just because of the granite. Like I don't want to do it. And also too, I was like, hey, let's just find something we like. Or actually not like, I was like, let's find something we love and just see what would be the difference in cost.
Yeah.
But I had already dealt with Mr. Shutdown. I already got Mr. Shutdown as soon as I said, let's just look.
Yeah.
And then that's when the disconnect became magnified.
Yeah.
And I felt like what was really crucial about that disconnect, and I think that's what magnified it the most, was that it was the shutdown. It was the shutdown. It was the not letting me in on what's going on.
Gotcha.
Because this is not our first project together. Like this is not our first, and it's not even like a major purchase. So that's why I was like, I wasn't understanding the response, the reaction that I was getting. Yeah. Because I'm like, of all the things that we've done in our relationship, this does not measure up. Like we've bought several houses. We've done, had to fight off
backyards a few times.
But I said we've done backyards. We've done, had to figure out foreclosures. Like
this right behind us.
Oh, the DIY projects. Like we do this all the time. So I wasn't understanding the magnitude of the reaction, and you were not letting me in. I had no idea what was going on.
But so, as you say it now, it makes a lot more sense, because now I'm just running through like, even just when building a house, like all of that. Wow, all of that. There was this.
Yes.
And that kind of magnified it. Kind of just basically, like the analogy of pushing stuff under the rug, and it's magnified in that one instance. Wow. So I guess if we're going that route, then I guess what could we have done to actually realize that there was a disconnect? Like what other things I guess as you think about it now, because as you was talking, I'm trying to figure out if I would have recognized there was a disconnect prior to that, like
So I think there were little disconnects.
Okay.
I don't think it was anything major.
Okay.
So that's what I think. I think we haven't really, even though I, graduated, like I finished college. I mean, I finished school and I finished, and I was studying I feel like there's always been something that I haven't really been able to be fully back here in the home and in our relationship. So now that I am able to be fully present and engaged, there have been little, like I said, I feel like there's been just little things. And I feel like when we went and picked out the granite, that was like the brushing of the rug, where now it's the big hump. And for you, that was your breaking point. Because for me, I was just confused. It wasn't my breaking point.
It was mine. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was.
And so when you ask what could we have done is been more vocal about
everything.
all the little things that were coming up instead of waiting.
Yeah.
Because what we found out is that what we tend to do is we wait for the other person to bring up
instead of addressing
something that we're upset or something that rubbed
or concerned you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rub that person the wrong way.
Yeah.
And so because of that, I can't say anything other than we should have verbalized those little things as they were coming up. Because in that moment, I honestly had no idea what was going on. Because I did not understand, like I said, I didn't understand why was this the thing that causes the shutdown.
No, but it's making sense though.
And so, but y'all, okay, so that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to go look, and of course I go and I fall in love with something that's the highest level. And so I'm all about making sound decisions. So I was like, let's just find out what the cost would be in the price to see if it's even something that we're willing to do. Because that's the whole thing. I might love a thing, but I'm also rational. Like, if the thing costs $10,000 more, I don't love anything that much to, want to invest that much money into it, right? Yeah. So I was just like, well, let's just find out so that we can have all the information before we make a decision. Because what if it would have been like a couple $100? I'm not finna settle for something if I only got to pay a couple hundred more dollars or whatever. And we can figure out if we were comfortable enough to make that, to pay more for something that because also too, he loved it too. It wasn't just like something I was trying to force on him. Yeah. He loved it too. Yeah. So I was just like, let's find out. No, he was shut down. No, we said we were not going to pay any more money. Okay, fine. I understand. I eventually got to the point where I was like, I understand. Although I don't have to like it. And so we made a selection. We settled on something. And I thought it was over and done with. I'm like, okay, what's next? We have to go to another store to pick out some stone. I'm still thinking, hey, we're doing this together. Do you like this? Do you like that? And cold shoulder. So then I'm like, okay, he got to be hangry. No, that's what it is.
Not my finest moments.
But no, I was like, he's hangry. That's what it is. Let's get some tacos. Makes everything better. No. Did not. And so that's what I was like, for the rest of the day, I was just confused. Cause I was like, I could see if I was like, I don't care what you say, we finna spend this extra 5 G's on the granite to get what we love, and I don't care what you say. Yeah. I can understand why you could be why there was an attitude then. But y'all, we didn't spend any extra money. I made a selection within the range that we said we agreed that we were gonna stay in. And even with the stone, like, everything was the same. Like, we didn't spend any extra money only on the tacos.
Yeah.
So I was confused.
Yeah, like I said, it wasn't my finest moment. But as you say it now, yeah, I can I can see because, like you said, like I with school and everything like that, I was making a lot of decisions, and you just a lot of times you just like you handle it, just take care of it, and then in that moment, because that's what I was already doing, I was just like. That's why me saying we're not gonna spend any more money is the same conversation like you saying just take care of this stuff. And so as you say it that way, no, that that makes total sense. And then I guess, nah, I'm not gonna say I guess. In that moment, I was kind of like, I guess because I was so used to doing it one way because that's how we was doing things, and then you came back another way. I was like, but wait a second. So I can't say that's what I felt, but for me, I was just in my head trying to figure out like, I'm not gonna lie, I was trying to figure out what I was thinking, like why am I upset? But I just for me, like when we went to get the second part stone, I really thought we was going home, and I was just like, I just need a break from this right now. Like meaning, I just need a break from thinking about all this stuff right now. And I just wanted to go home. I didn't even want to go to the next place. He was like, we gotta go to the next place. Like,
well, because we had to get it done.
I know, but for me, I wasn't prepared. I thought we was going to one place and had to do it all. I didn't know we had to go to multiple places.
Both of us, I had that too. I didn't know we had to go to multiple places.
Yeah. So
I thought it was going to be a different option. Like, oh, if y'all don't find what you want in this store, then go to this other location.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I was under that impression too. But that's why I said it was just it's just a series of disconnects and miscommunication because you were still stuck in how things have been running where you're making decisions and kind of owning it. Yeah. And I reverted back to how we do things, like how we do projects like this before. Like before everything. We're going back to the team, like we're going back to how we do things and how we make decisions on purchases like this. Because I've always known since I would say early on while we were dating, how you feel about money, especially over a certain amount. Yeah. And about certain things. So I was like, so it's not that. It can't, could it be that? Because I know that, that's why I was like, I understand not wanting to spend any more. Yeah. So I came back around to that, but then I was like, but then there's still this tension. And I'm like, so I don't know. And that was I think that's what frustrated me the most because I was trying to break into the, like, I'm like, okay, so what is it? What's going on? Like, talk to me in essence. Yeah, but you didn't say that. Well, no, because also too, because that's one of our things. Yeah. We don't talk about like our business. Yeah. And especially if we haven't talked about it before, correct, in front of someone else.
That's correct, yeah.
So that's why I was like, because someone else was with us. So that's why I was like, so it's not like I'm asking for us to have a heart-to-heart right now because I know whatever, but I do want you to just tell me like, what is it? What's going on? Like I said, I was confusion. And I know we need to have so what that really confirmed to me, the fact that it kept going on was that we need to have a bigger conversation because I by that night I knew I was like, this is more than just the granite because like we didn't spend any extra money. Correct. So I was like, so it's more than that. And then that's when I go into, well, I'm not going to bring it up until you bring it up because the way that we have been operating was if we wait for the other person who basically shut down to bring it up. And that's not always the healthiest because I was the one I was the one who wanted to talk about it and it was bothering me. And it bothered me up until almost a week later when we actually talked about it. Yeah. Like a whole week of just having it there and just not talking. Like literally the elephant is in the room wherever we go. So.
No, that's, wow. I'm sorry. I'm really just cycling through all of that because, yeah, That's what we got to work on. We got to work on really focusing on if we feel somewhere we need to be able to have a conversation or set up a conversation so we can talk about it rather than just wait for that person to kind of, when they're ready to talk.
Yes, I definitely agree with that. I think what we've gotten used to is because we were good at having hard conversations.
But with all the stuff going on.
But with everything going on, because our time together has been limited.
Yeah.
Actually, like quality time together
Correct.
has been limited. We avoid it.
Correct.
So we wait for the other person. Yeah.
We want to enjoy. We want to whatever time we can spend. We want to spend it rather than try to have a conversation, get to the meat and potatoes of it, and get through it. We just gonna be like, nope, not until that person we want to talk about.
Right. Right. Because it's like I don't want to bring up something that is gonna create a situation where we're gonna exactly.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, well, I'm not gonna talk about it. So when he's ready to talk about it, he'll bring it up. And because of that, I'm the one that's sitting with it for like however long. Because what if he would not have brought it up? And that right there is the issue.
Yeah, because I would have thought you would have been that you didn't want to talk about it, so I probably wouldn't have brought it up.
Right.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't even brought it up because I'm like, I guess she's fine with it. Mm-hmm. Not knowing that it was festering and you wanted to talk about it.
Exactly. Yeah. And so then at that point, I would have had to decide, am I willing to basically address it? Mm-hmm. Or is this something that's going to continue to be brushed under the rug? Yeah. Another disconnect that got brushed under the rug until the next blow up.
Yeah.
And so I think at one point I was like, well, if he doesn't see it as being an issue, I'm not going to bring it up. Because also too, this is being a therapist is crazy. I do a lot of self-reflection. So I'm like, well, if I'm the one that has the problem, if I have the problem with it, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm looking at this situation wrong. And so then I'm like, so am I interpreting things? Am I reading more into it than it is? And so that's why I'm like, you start getting in your head, and that's something that I already struggle with, that I'm like, no, I had to, let's just talk about it and see. Let's just talk. And then if I did, if I read more into it, then that's something. And that's something then I can deal with. Yeah. But the trying to make assumptions, like everything we said not to do, like making assumptions on why you did, what you did and why, I don't know. There's so many answers and possibilities. So then I just, so it's a matter of going ahead and addressing it in an appropriate time in an appropriate way so that it can be a productive conversation.
Okay, so we'll kind of end with this question. So being that you recognize that you should have brought it to me earlier, how do you think you could have brought it to me in a way that, again, because if you had brought it to me, probably not that night, but
no,
if it would have been the next day, I think we could have had the conversation. But that's why I'm like, I'm just trying to figure out, like, how because this is going to be something different that for both of us having to have this conversation when, it's bothering us. How do you think you should have brought it up?
I think I should have prioritized the conversation over being like happy, like peaceful.
Okay.
Because that was the reason why I didn't bring it up earlier. Because honestly, because I wasn't sure as to why the reaction was so strong. Okay. I was like, honestly, y'all, I didn't even want to bring it up. Y'all want to know when I brought it up? I brought it up in couples therapy. Yeah. Because I'm like, well, there's a third person here that can help, like, if it does get heated, like there's a third person here because I didn't know what was really going on.
Correct.
So I was just like, I don't know if I'm about to poke a sleeping bear or what. So that's what's like, I'm not gonna do this by myself. Like, I don't know. It was very strange.
Yeah.
And so that's why I think that,
because I'll say this, you started to bring it up, but you stopped because we had went somewhere and we had a conversation about it. I don't know where we went. We went somewhere together, and we had a conversation about it. Where did we go? We went somewhere because we was eating and we was talking.
By ourselves?
It was just me and you, yeah. It was just me and you. Mm-hmm. Yes, I know what it was. Yeah. It was when we went to breakfast. That was. We went to have coffee.
Oh.
And you started to bring it up.
Oh yeah. Well, okay.
Yeah. No.
But that wasn't the time. That's why I stopped.
Yeah.
Because we're in between kids' activities. Yeah. So I was like, I'm not going to bring this up because also too, I was still trying to understand like me, like what was coming up for me that was preventing me from actually wanting to bring it up and have the conversation.
Yeah.
Because it's not like we don't talk. Like we need to, like we have conversations. So I'm like, so what is it that I'm missing? Because at first I was like, well, I felt excluded. Yes, I did feel excluded, but there's something, like I felt like there was something more. Mm-hmm. And so honestly, until we started talking about the teamwork, and that's when I realized, I was like, it was the fact that we were not operating as a team. And we've been really, I don't want to say really struggling, but we have been challenged with working effectively as a team since all the changes.
Gotcha.
And I think that's why I'm extremely nervous because yes, our relationship works really well in transition and pivoting because that's like something that we've always had to do since the start of it. But we're introducing even more change. Like, this was like, oh, this is not enough. Let's go ahead and introduce this and this and this and this. And so now I'm like, okay, so how are we going to do all of this if we're not working effectively as a team?
Yeah.
And so that brings up anxieties within me. So that's why I'm like, well, I don't know how to unpack all that.
But see,
so I was like, let's just keep it over there for now.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. But being that we understand it now and we see it, now we can be better prepared for it now and be able to, even though we may be having a lot of things going on, that we still focus and really and be intentional so we're not those little, I don't want to say hiccups, those little, things are not getting pushed under the rug so this doesn't happen again. And really just, having conversations, not just like the conversation that we normally have during our date night, but really talking about those little things and not just holding on to them. So yeah.
Well.
Okay.
I feel like this is kind of couples therapy, so I'm just gonna stop. But that's another problem, right?
Yeah.
When was the last time we had date night?
Yeah, I know.
So yeah. And that's what's like it all.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Like falls in.
Yeah.
So.
Serene better stop.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, I don't have any marriage events tip. Don't have anything. Well,
I do.
Go ahead. Then go ahead.
I mean, I would say the marriage advance tip is if it bothers you, you need to address it. Like you need to bring up the conversation. Don't wait. Don't internalize something without having a conversation because it just honestly, it just feeds into the negative thought and it adds to the disconnect.
Correct.
Really. Like if I'm sitting off here and it can build resentment, it can build bitterness. There's so many things can come out of not having the conversation. So keep in mind that yes, you need to make sure it's the right time, not only for you, but for the other person, but have the conversation and just be like, so there's something that's been bothering me that I want to talk out with you in case I am misinterpreting or I'm misunderstanding, because I'm feeling like I am misunderstanding something and I'm looking for clarity.
Okay.
In that way, that opens the door to having a conversation without being defensive. Because if you come at it and be like, so I want to talk about the way that you are, excluding me, or the way you're leaving me out, or if you're like pointing the finger at your partner, your spouse, they're going to immediately become defensive, and you're not going to be able to have a conversation where you both get an understanding.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of using, like we say all the time, I statements about how you're feeling, how you have perceived the situation, so that they'll know that it's not an attack, but it's really an attempt to reconnect.
Okay.
And that's all.
That's all, folks.
Yes.
Well, thank y'all for just sitting here and listening to us have therapy. Yeah. I guess I kind of enjoy these conversations sometimes, because I'll be coming up with some random thought, and then it just turns into something else.
Yeah.
So, but as always, like, follow, share, subscribe, send this to someone else. Put something in the comments. Let us know what you think about
Yes.
it. Because I know there's a lot of you out there listening and watching. Just let us know. Let us know what you think, if this is something that you've experienced before, and if you agree. Mm-hmm. So I guess until next week.
Because remember, the real work begins at I do. Peace.